All right. First, let me say thank you to Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke for her press conference earlier today, spelling out very clearly why there would be no criminal charges resulting from the Dexter Reed shooting. Those officers were legally justified in responding the way they did when Mr. Reed decided he was going to open fire on officers to try and escape arrest and prosecution for having a weapon he should not have had at the time. That's just the God's honest truth. It is what it is. And thankfully, our officers, including the one that was wounded, is on his way to making a full recovery. But yeah, it was something that we haven't seen in quite some time. So thank you, Ms. State's Attorney. Also at 26th and Cal is a trial going on for 2 counts of attempted murder of a police officer from 2020, the Summer of Love and Riots, where Lori Lightfoot turned the city upside down by not having a plan to deal with the riots, and a failed superintendent in David Brown with his leadership team of Eric Carter and even Fred Waller, who was the chief of patrol at the time, who literally told me to my face we didn't have a plan. Pretty frightening, but yet he's still collecting a paycheck 5 years later from this department, a sizable paycheck at that. Nonetheless, if you can show support to these 2 officers, the defense will be putting on their case tomorrow with closing arguments expected starting at about 9 o'clock in the morning, room 500. We should pack the courtroom for these 2 officers. They deserve it. They've waited a long time for justice, and hopefully the answer comes tomorrow by the end of the day. One more thing. Last Friday, the appellate court had a split decision on the termination arbitration case that has been winding its way through the courts, because this mayor who pretends to be pro-labor rallied enough aldermen who also pretend to be pro-labor, who violated state labor laws in not ratifying an arbitration award, rightly so, and not upholding our right to have private arbitration, which is the standard in this state for everybody. They decided they wanted to single out the police. So just remember that next time any of them try and champion that they're pro-labor. They are not. You can't have it both ways. You either support labor or you don't. And when you go against the labor standard of arbitration being private, shame on you. But here we are. So the appellate court decision affirmed our right to remain in a paid status while going through discipline processes, including termination, which has already been the standard for less than termination cases. And there was a split decision on the public arbitration component of it that Judge Mullen issued in the Chancery Court, wrongfully so. The 2 justices of the 3 affirmed his decision, wrongly so yet again. And even though they repeatedly implied and said that they didn't have the ability to dictate and to define what public policy was, that's pretty much what their decision did. And it was spelled out in the dissent by Judge Mitchell. Judge Mitchell was also the one who issued the restraining order against the city for the COVID policy back under Lightfoot's archaic rule. And, well, I mean, sadly, we probably would want her back because this guy's clueless. But anyway, Judge Mitchell's dissent absolutely spelled out what they did wrong and what their decision was looking at upside down. It has laid the foundation for an appeal to the Illinois Supreme Court. We have 35 days from that decision to do it. We're weighing our legal options, but I think we're on pretty solid footing that the law of the land is arbitration is private. We don't have the right to strike. They want to give us that back, God bless, we'll take it, and they could have public arbitration all day long. I don't see that happening. But I hope every other union member and leader especially that sees this video gets on board and lets it be well known, because today it is us. If public arbitration becomes the way of the land for us, you can be assured it is going to creep its way through the city, every single union in the city, and eventually every single union in this state. They will change the labor law. So we need to fight like hell to make sure the Illinois Supreme Court understands what labor law is, and they need to abide by it. I will update everybody with a verdict when we have one, whether it's tomorrow or Friday. Until then, thank you. Have a good night.